What's good, people? I haven't filmed for a few days. Been missing it. Just been really, really busy. So I apologize for my couple of days absence. Guys, I want to touch on a subject. I replied to um, a control on on Sky Sports blog. They put up a video of Usman Ahmed getting knocked out, um, and there was a person that on that video wrote a comment saying that he was Usman Ahmed was obviously knocked out in that fight. I don't know if you guys know Usman Ahmed. I think he was a flyweight, I believe. There was a video that went viral about him. I'm not going to go into too much depth because I think this video is about a more deeper message than the knockout and the guy. Basically, this guy, British white guy, basically in the comment section said, he's got a glass chin just like his fellow countrymen. He was obviously talking about Amir Khan, who's obviously Pakistani. Usman Ahmed's Pakistani. That comment for me was a racial comment. I'll tell you why. And I'll explain why this is what's wrong with our society that we live in today. Firstly, Usman Ahmed is British, right? I believe he's British. Amir Khan is British, right? So when you say his fellow countrymen, right, that could be Ricky Hatton, that could be Anthony Joshua, that could be Lennox Lewis, that could be anyone that represents Great Britain. Because Amir Khan is British. Yes, his parents are from Pakistan, but he's born in this country. I'm also British Pakistani, but I'm British. I'm born in this country, got a red passport, just like any other British black person, British white person. So by making that comment, that person is basically saying he doesn't see Amir Khan as British, he sees him as Pakistani. And that comment, that in itself, for me, is a racial comment. And I don't think you should be making comments like that. Because that's the problem with the society we live in, that people are making comments like this and you're segregating and dividing people. All of a sudden there's gonna be Asian people that rush to the comment section and start attacking him, right? And before you know it, you've got a social media spat. Guys, it's really important when you guys go on social media or on the internet or wherever that you're responsible for what you're saying. Because we're living in a world which is already full of tension, right? Don't make things worse by coming out and making silly comments like that. Because listen, a lot of these people that are making these comments, they know the reaction that they're going to get from that. But yet they still choose to make those comments. And they wouldn't make those type of comments outside because they know that it could have a detriment on your job, etc. So then they come on social media because they know nothing can happen. And don't get me wrong, even on social media, you got to be careful what you say because people can find you out and you can get done. But please be responsible for what comes out your mouth on social media, especially when it comes to race and things like that. Because you've got to be responsible for what you say, and let's come together, irrespective of whether you're white, black, Asian, Muslim, whatever, Hindu, Sikh, whatever you are, Christian, whatever you are. Let's start making positive comments rather than making, silly comments that are going to offend people. Why do you want to offend people? What are you going to get out of it? Nothing. Just spreading hate, just causing aggro. There's no need for it. There's no need for that comment. There was no need for it because the comment in itself to me seemed there was malice behind it. Some of you guys give Amir Khan stick, but I don't really say anything because I think it's funny. I think it's banter. Some of you are trolling. That's fair enough because I don't think there's any malice behind the comments, right? But when I see a comment, right, and I responded to him, and I never respond to anybody it was a Sky Sports blog, and I responded to him because I felt like there was malice behind that comment. I felt like he knew what he was saying and what he was trying to do when he said that comment. And I didn't like it. I didn't like it because, like I said, I just felt like there was malice behind it. So that's what I'm saying, guys. Please, when you go on social media, try to be responsible for what you say. Because we live in a very tensed world right now. We don't need to make things worse by going on social media and making silly remarks. racial remarks. No need for it. You know, so I know a lot of you guys, listen, I have black people that watch my YouTube, I have white people that watch my YouTube, I have Asian people, and a lot of, to be honest, all of them are really good. All of you guys are really good. I've never ever really looked at, because I never ever look at somebody and think he's black or he's white or he's Asian. I just look at him as a human being. And I'm pretty sure a lot of you, all of you do the same thing. But you know, there are still certain people that do differentiate and look at people differently. But we need to stop that. We need to stop that and change people's, they need to be educated properly. Education is very important on this subject. But that's, I just thought I'd give my 2 pence on it. Leave your thoughts. Let me know what you think. I'd love to know your guys' opinion. I'd love to respond to some of your comments. Leave your thoughts, guys. Let me know what you think. And guys, remember to please like, share, subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys in the next video. Guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are well. I hope you guys are staying safe, staying well. Mr. Ricky the Hickman Hatton. It looks like he can't get over the Mayweather defeat, Mr. Hatton. He's struggling to get over the defeat, isn't he, Ricky Hatton? Saying once again that, you know, he feels that he was cheated in the Mayweather fight. He wasn't allowed to do the work about, you know, because of the referee. He felt, you know, Joe Cortez was definitely on Mayweather's side, and he wasn't allowing Floyd to do the work. Himself to do the work on the inside. He kept breaking it up, the referee. I think Ricky Hatton needs to let this go, because he's making himself look, in my opinion, a little foolish, in the sense that to say that he felt a bit cheated. You wouldn't have beaten Mayweather. You wouldn't, like, Ricky Hatton wouldn't have beaten Mayweather. As simple as that. It doesn't matter what referee it was, where it was, whether they let him work on the inside. He wouldn't have beaten Mayweather. Ricky Hatton wouldn't have beaten Mayweather. It's as simple as that. You know, I do feel that Ricky Hatton's, it's a bit of sour grapes. You know, you got your opportunity and you weren't able to do it. The fact that the referee didn't allow you to work is irrelevant. You know, you're not going to get everything in your favor like you did when you were in England, in Manchester. You know, it doesn't work like that. Certain referees will be a lot more stricter, certain referees won't be. But to say that you felt cheated when really you then fought Pacquaio after and got blitzed out, no, I don't see it. I don't see it. I don't feel. Yeah. So it says here, boxing scene. Ricky Hatton says, "I feel a little bit cheated in the loss to Floyd Mayweather." What does he actually say? He goes, "I'd give him a good run for his money. I feel a bit cheated, to be honest with you, because I felt I was going to outbox him and I was going to outspeed him. But if I allowed it to get close, I will definitely throw more punches than him. I never got the opportunity, and that's the thing that will always eat away at me. The referee never gave me the opportunity. I did give him a good run for his money. I feel a bit cheated, to be honest with you, because I felt I wasn't going to." Okay, yeah, I read it wrong. He's basically said he wasn't going to outbox him, and he didn't really get the opportunity to work. Then he goes on to say, "The one person that was allowed to get stuck and bully him and was allowed to fight close was Marcus Maidana, and that pushed him really close. Castillo was all allowed to get close, and a lot of people thought Castillo won. So I smelled a rat that night with the referee, and I don't think was given a fair crack at the whip." Firstly, Maidana is a lot stronger than Ricky Hatton. Maidana's a lot more stronger, bigger puncher, punches way harder than Hatton. Hatton wouldn't have been able to hurt Mayweather, so Mayweather eventually would have worn him down. And actually, if Hatton had started being aggressive, right, Hatton didn't have Maidana's chin. He had a fairly good chin, but Mayweather would have worn him down. Maidana was able to take Mayweather's punches because Maidana was big and strong, right, and he could punch, and Mayweather was afraid of the power that was coming back at him because Maidana could really crack. Hatton didn't have that kind of venom in his punches, right? There's no way, in my opinion, it doesn't matter what referee was, whatever it was, he wouldn't have won that fight. Right? And let's be honest, he got knocked out. It wasn't like the fight was a close fight on points. He got knocked out in the end. You know, so, and he would have got knocked out. If he was allowed to work more, Mayweather would have knocked him out more, because Hatton would have been more reckless and Mayweather would have been landing even more shots. Right? the referee was in my opinion, the referee was breaking it up. Yeah, he might have been breaking it up. He might have been towards Mayweather's side. But at the end of the day, fans like to see a proper scrap. They don't like to see a guy inside and you know, hugging and they want to see a scrap. So really, when they're fighting on the inside, yes, I like to see him fight up close, but I want to see him scrap from distance because I want to see punches landing. I don't want to see a brawl because a lot of the fights that happen on the inside, a lot of the hugging and a lot of the grabbing hold, that's very boring for fans. We like to see punches exchanging. We like to see fighters trading, not grabbing hold, because Mayweather would have grabbed hold of Hatton because I don't think Hatton was physically stronger than Mayweather. So I just think it's sour grapes from Hatton because I don't think he would have won that fight irrespective. What do you guys think? Do you think he had any chance or do you think it's sour grapes from Hatton? Leave your thoughts in the comment section below, guys. And guys, remember to please like, share, subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys in the next video. So what's going on, guys? I hope you guys are well. Terence Crawford says he's not willing to take a pay cut. He is not willing to take a pay cut. He's got a contract and he says it says in his contract that, you know, he'll get his money regardless of the situation. I don't think Terence Crawford will probably fight in this lockdown period until fans are back, just because I think how is Bob Arum and Top Rank going to be able to afford that, you know, to pay him $5 million, because I believe he gets paid around $5 million a fight. So how are they going to afford to pay that? I already believe that Terence Crawford's fights are probably making a loss for ESPN and Top Rank because he's not generating that kind of revenue where he's even warranted $5 million. He's not moving the needle for ESPN in my opinion because he's not a big draw. So fair play to Crawford for holding out for, you know, his contract and saying he's not going to take a pay cut. That's fair enough because I'm pretty sure every time Crawford goes in the ring, he wants to be paid. He doesn't want to go in for peanuts. He's one of the best fighters in the world and he feels he deserves to be paid. However, I don't think he's going to be fighting during this period because I just don't think Top Rank can afford to pay him. They can't afford to pay him $5 million. It's just doesn't make sense for them from a business point of view. So I think they'll wait until the fans go in. And then they'll look to make a fight for Terence Crawford. I think Crawford's in a position, very difficult position, because he needs a big fight. He needs a big fight with a meaningful welterweight, and I don't even know whether Kell Brook fight cuts it anymore. If you remember Terence Crawford's interview with IFL TV, he named about 5 fighters that he would rather fight than fight Kell Brook. I think that in itself shows what he thinks of Kell Brook. And the reason why he's saying that is because he knows that Kell Brook's probably a tough fight and it's a fight where he gets no credit. So he's thinking to myself, why shall I fight Kell Brook when I don't really get any credit for it? And I don't really get anything from the fight if I win. And that's why he doesn't want to fight Sean Porter. Because although Sean Porter is a tough fight, I think he's looking at Sean and thinking, this is going to be a tough fight. You know, Sean Porter's a dog. He's going to come in there and he's going to make it very, very tough for me. Right? Why fight Sean Porter when I can rather fight Spence or Pacquiao in fights that are just as tough? But I'll get a lot of credit if I win. I'll get a shed load more money and I'll become unified champion if I win. So I think Crawford is now looking at it from a business point of view, if I'm honest with you. But I think he may be forced into taking a fight with someone like Ugas, someone like Sean Porter, just because of the fact that I don't think those fights are going to materialize yet. And I think he has to take a big fight because I think the fans are getting frustrated. Fans are getting frustrated with Crawford because you see a lot of comments now on social media. Oh, Crawford fighting another cab driver. He's fighting another fight? People are getting frustrated with Terence Crawford. So it's all right him coming out and saying I won't take a pay cut. That's fair enough, and I respect him for that because he should get what he deserves. But at the same time, he needs to start pushing for a big fight. Now, he may say, well, the PBC guys don't want to fight him. Sean Porter wants to fight him. Sean Porter wants to fight him. And he's saying, well, in the IFL TV interview, he said, well, I feel a certain way about that. Because when Porter was champion, I wanted to fight him and he didn't want to fight me. Now, all of a sudden, Porter's not champion. And he wants to fight me. And I feel a certain way about that. So, to me, what that kind of means is Terence Crawford is saying, well, what does Porter bring to the table? But what did Kavalauskas bring to the table? What does Benavidez bring to the table? People will even say, what did Amir Khan bring to the table? Yes, he brought a relatively big name, and they thought that they'd be able to sell the fight because the fight was on pay-per-view, unlike Kavaliauskas and Benavidez, because obviously Khan has that name, so they were able to put that fight as a pay-per-view. But what did Kavaliauskas bring to the table? What did Benavidez bring to the table? So you fought those guys, but yet you have a kind of problem not fighting Porter and saying, well, he's not champion, and when he was champion, he didn't fight me. But you decided to fight Benavidez, you decided to fight Kavaliauskas. They didn't have no title. They didn't bring much to the table, but why did you fight them? So I just think Crawford needs to fight, Sean Porter, if that fight can be made. If I'm honest, just because I think it's a great fight for him. Fans would enjoy it, and I think it's a fight where if he wins, he'll get credit. And Crawford's at the stage of his career where he needs meaningful fights, and Sean Porter is a meaningful fight, and a fight where he'll get a lot more credit than beating even Kell Brook, for instance. So leave your thoughts, guys. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. What do you guys think? Leave your thoughts. Let me know, and I'll see you guys in the next video. So guys, what is going on? I hope you guys are well. So guys, Keith Thurman calls Manny Pacquiao a punk, a hippity-poppity punk. This is what Keith Thurman had to say about Manny Pacquiao. I think Keith Thurman is going about it all the wrong way. You know, you got your shot against Manny Pacquiao, you lost, and now you're being disrespectful again to try get a rematch, which Manny Pacquiao is not gonna, just because you say a few words against him, he's not gonna give you a rematch. You know, nobody wants to really see that rematch. You got beat the first time, you had your opportunity, and you lost. It's as simple as that. So he said something about calling Manny Pacquiao a hippity-poppity, whatever, punk. I just think it's rude, calling a legend a punk, especially when he beat you, put you down, hurt you in the fight, and when you had your opportunity in the ring, you didn't do it. You weren't able to cut it, and he beat you. That was the best chance for Keith Thurman to beat Manny Pacquiao. If you were not able to beat that Manny Pacquiao, God knows what prime Manny Pacquiao would have done to you. God knows he would have destroyed you in his prime. Yeah, you couldn't beat a 41-year-old Manny Pacquiao. That was the greatest chance for Keith Thurman to beat Manny Pacquiao, and he still couldn't do it. You know, I think Keith Thurman, fans are starting to get really frustrated with Keith Thurman, because Keith Thurman's starting to come across a guy that just talks a lot. You know, the other day he was talking about Kell Brook, he was talking about send the contract, but it's just all talk right now for Keith Thurman. There's no action. First, then he talks about having a warm-up fight. I need a warm-up fight. I'm not just going to jump into any old fight. I want to be paid. Send me the pack. Like, I don't get Keith Thurman right now. Now he's coming out and saying he wants a Pacquiao rematch, calling him a punk. Well, you had an opportunity. Why didn't you do the job on him in the first time? You had an opportunity the first time. Why didn't you beat him? That was Keith Thurman's best chance of beating Manny Pacquiao. Keith Thurman ain't getting a rematch now. He doesn't deserve a rematch. He doesn't deserve a rematch, in my opinion. Yes, people may say the fight was close. He may say the fight was close. The fact is, in my opinion, he don't deserve a rematch. I feel that he's just trying to talk his way into a rematch, and really should fight Porter again. He should fight Porter or Danny Garcia again. You know, Danny Garcia is going to get a shot against Spence. What about him and Porter again? I wouldn't mind seeing that. And the winner of that fight gets another title shot. Maybe at Crawford, maybe at Spence. But at the end of the day, you know, Keith Thurman's just doing a lot of talking right now. And listen, I've defended Keith Thurman many times, but I do think this comment about Pacquiao, it's a bit cold, especially when Pacquiao beat him. Like, you just got beat by a 41-year-old, right? Who you were saying that couldn't beat you, and he beat you. And like I said, that was your best chance of beating that guy, because Manny Pacquiao is past his best now. And you imagine what Pacquiao in his prime would have done to Keith Thurman. He would have beat him easily. It's just, like I said, I think a lot of fighters are just talking a lot nowadays. They're not actually, there's no action. Keith Thurman needs to get busy. He needs to start fighting. He needs to get into meaningful fights. He needs to fight guys like Sean Porter. Fight Ugas. Fight guys like that. Show people that you're hungry, that you want to get back to the top. Not just talking and want big fights. Because nobody believes you. They just think that you're there for a paycheck now. Keith Thurman is looked at that. Listen, Keith Thurman needs to prove himself again against a Porter, against a Ugas, somebody of that level. You have a convincing win against those guys, people will start looking at you as a top man again. But until you beat a legitimate welterweight, because really after his injury against, after his fight against Danny Garcia, fought Lopez, looked terrible against Lopez, and then got beat by Pacquiao. So he hasn't done much lately. In the last couple of years, what's Keith Thurman done? Nothing. So Keith Thurman needs to get a move on, fight someone and beat someone credible, right? And then we can start taking Keith Thurman seriously. But right now, all Keith Thurman seems to be doing over the last 1 or 2 years is just talking a lot. Not much action, not much fighting, just a lot of talk. And this plea of a rematch with Pacquiao and calling him a punk, again, is not going to go down very popular with the fans. Because a lot of people are frustrated with Keith Thurman, the fact that all he's doing is talking. What do you guys think? Do you think Keith Thurman deserves a rematch with Pacquiao? Do you think he should fight Paul? What do you think Keith Thurman should do? Leave your thoughts, guys. Let me know what you think. And guys, remember to please like, share, subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys in the next video. So guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are well. So guys, Keith Thurman tells Errol Spence, fight me or leave the division. Keith Thurman obviously is not happy that, Errol Spence doesn't, or saying that he doesn't want to fight him. He can get back in the queue and stuff like that. Because obviously Errol Spence feels like Keith Thurman did that to him when Keith Thurman was champion. When Errol Spence wanted to fight him, Keith didn't really show the interest in fighting him. And now Errol's thinking, I don't really need to fight this guy. This guy's a nobody. He's not got a title. He's got nothing. Why would I want to fight him? I hope Errol. Listen. When I saw Errol, I didn't think Errol has that kind of opinion about. I think Errol was a guy that would fight anyone. And I wouldn't want Errol Spence. I would want Errol Spence to take the high ground because, firstly, I think he beats Keith Thurman. I'll get that out there. I think he beats Keith Thurman, and I would love to see that fight. I think it's a great fight. I think it's a fight that would interest me. It would. Keith Thurman v Errol Spence would interest me a lot more than Errol Spence Danny Garcia, just because of the fact that I think Keith's a better boxer than Garcia, and he punches quite hard, and he's a big welterweight. Listen, I think Errol Spence beats both of them, beats Garcia and Keith. But it's a fight that I would love to see. It's a fight that I would watch, and I'd love to see. I'd love to see it. I think it's a dynamite fight. I think it's a good fight. I think Keith Thurman, if he adopts the right game plan and able to follow the game plan, he might even be able to cause off an upset. Even though Errol Spence is obviously, I think, the hot favorite, and I would pick him to win that fight via knockout, if I'm honest. But again, Keith Thurman is a very good fighter. It's a fight that I think the division needs, in my opinion. And I think if Errol Spence doesn't get a fight with Crawford or Pacquiao, then for me, the next big fight is against Keith Thurman. And Keith Thurman's right. Fight me or leave the division. If you're not going to fight, the other guys, the other top two guys. I think that's a bit of a wrong comment by Thurman, just because I think that Errol Spence, if he fights Crawford or Pacquiao, they're bigger fights and they're more meaningful fights in the division because they're champions. Keith isn't. So you can't knock Errol Spence taking a fight with Pacquiao and Crawford because those fights are unified championship fights. Whereas a fight with Keith Thurman would just be a fight for, Spence's IBF and WBC titles. But obviously, if Spence fights Pacquiao or Crawford, it'd be a unification fight because they also hold a version of the welterweight championships. So at the end of the day, I think it's a fight that I would love to see. Regardless, I would love to see them fight, whether it's at 154, 147. I want to see Keith and Spence fight. Because I think it's a good fight. I think it's a great build-up. I think it's a big welterweight fight. So we need to see it, don't we? I don't think it's something that we should be starved of, because fights like this should have happened, and it's probably Keith's fault before that the fight didn't happen. But for me, the fight should have happened. For me, the fight should have happened a while ago, and I think Keith was to fault the fight not happening. Whereas I think now I don't want Errol Spence to go down the same path and not to fight Keith Thurman because of the grudge he held, the fact that Keith didn't give him his shot when he was in a power position. I want to see the fight. You know, as a fan, we all want to see the fight. We don't care about whether, oh yeah, he didn't fight you, so you're taking your grudge. We just want to give us a fight. Errol Spence is the favorite in that fight. You know, he'd be a very strong, big favorite to win that fight. So why Errol wouldn't want to fight Keith Thurman? It's a big fight, and he'll get paid well for it as well, because Keith's a big name. So it makes sense. It makes sense if again, obviously, Crawford and Pacquiao, it should be his targets because he wants to unify. But Keith Thurman should not be overlooked by Errol Spence, especially if he can't get the Pacquiao and Crawford fight. The Keith Thurman fight is the next biggest thing for Errol Spence, and it's a great fight to watch. I don't think it's as one-sided as what people think. I think, listen, I favor Spence in the fight, but I don't think Keith is a pushover. He's no pushover. Keith can fight. I believe Spence will win the fight, but again, Keith is no pushover. He can punch. He punches harder than Porter. He's a better boxer than Porter. He's a better boxer than Garcia, and I believe he punches harder than Garcia. You know, so if Keith can get his mojo back, get his drive back, get his hunger back, Keith is a problem for anybody in the welterweight division. But again, like I said, we want to see this fight as fans. It's a great fight. It'd be a fight that we'd all love to see. And I don't think, as boxing fans, we've been starved of so many big fights. This is another one that I would love to see. Another great fight. I think after Spence fighting Crawford or Pacquiao, or Crawford or Pacquiao, it's the next biggest thing. So I'd love to see it. But leave your thoughts, guys. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Is it a fight that interests you? Is it a fight that you don't really care about? You think the division's moved on? Leave your thoughts, guys. Let me know what you think. And guys, remember to please like, share, subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys in the next video. Guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are well. I hope you guys are staying safe. Guys, I wanted to make a video. You know what? A couple of months ago, I met a boxing fan. He was a Ricky Hatton fan. And I kind of had an argument with this guy. And he was saying, oh, Ricky Hatton was legend, this, that. And I kind of questioned him. I said, listen, did you actually watch Ricky Hatton's career? Did you actually watch all his fights? Because if you do know that his resume wasn't that great, right? Ricky Hatton had a massive fan following, and he was a very popular fighter. Just like Amir Khan's a very unpopular fighter in this country, Ricky Hatton was a very popular fighter, and he had thousands of fans fly over to Vegas for him. And then I got onto the Mayweather-Pacquiao, when he fought Mayweather and Pacquiao. Did Mayweather and Pacquiao expose Ricky Hatton for what he was? Ricky Hatton was a very good fighter, very good chin, a tough man. You know, a relentless fighter. You know, his best win came against Costa Tszyu, who, listen, was past his best. Costa Tszyu, after Ricky Hatton fight, didn't ever fight again. He was past his best, but yeah, it was still a good win for Ricky Hatton. And by no means I'm making this video to slander Ricky Hatton, but I do think he was a bit overrated, if I'm honest. That's just my opinion. You know, it's just my personal opinion. That's not Ricky. He was a good fighter, very good fighter. Just think he was a little overrated just because he was so loved by the British public. Let's go on to the Mayweather-Pacquiao fight. And I'm going to make some points. Mayweather and Pacquiao, right? Floyd Mayweather, right, knocked out Ricky Hatton, of course. Manny Pacquiao knocked out Ricky Hatton, of course. What I want you to do is look at Floyd Mayweather's career. Floyd Mayweather, early on in his career, was Pretty Boy Floyd, where he was battering guys, beating guys up, knocking them out. Towards the back end of his career, he became Floyd Money Mayweather, more defensive, a defensive wizard, a guy that was difficult to hit, and he would win fights on points. When Ricky Hatton fought him, Ricky Hatton fought the defensive Floyd, right? Floyd Mayweather knocked him out, right? Floyd Mayweather knocked Ricky Hatton out. Who did Floyd Mayweather knock out in around that time? Check it. Two names come to mind. Victor Ortiz, which was a sucker punch, which obviously Ortiz didn't know the punch was coming. He thought the referee had stopped it. And Conor McGregor, if you want to count that. Those are the two guys he knocked out after that. Right? Floyd Mayweather wasn't known towards the back end of his career knocking people out. And he knocked Ricky Hatton out because Ricky Hatton was limited. And And this is by no means hating on him, because Ricky Hatton had one-dimensional style. And he came forward, and Floyd Mayweather sussed him out, and he started landing a lot of shots, and wore him down and knocked him out. Then we come on to the Pacquiao fight. A lot of people at that time thought Ricky Hatton had a shot of winning that fight. A lot of people thought Ricky Hatton had a shot of winning that fight. Manny Pacquiao dismantled Ricky Hatton, dropped him 3 times in the first round, and then knocked him out cold in the second. Again, I'll come back to it. Who did Manny Pacquiao knock out the way he knocked out Ricky Hatton? Cold like that. A little man, remember. Yes, it was Manny Pacquiao. He's a living legend. And he's a great fighter. But who did Manny Pacquiao knock out like that? Go back and watch his fights. Jesse Vargas, Timothy Bradley, Jeff Horn. Go back and watch even his fights around that period. Joshua Clottey, Miguel Cotto, Oscar De La Hoya. He beat those guys up. Margarito, he beat those guys up, but he didn't knock them out cold like that. Again, this is what I'm trying to say, that Ricky Hatton, a very good fighter, but I do think he was a little overrated. And a lot of his wins, did he even beat Luis Collazo? Again, that was a very tight fight, right? And look what Khan did to Collazo. Yes, people are going to say Collazo was whatever, they're going to talk nonsense. Khan would have done that to Collazo that Ricky Hatton fought, because Khan was stylistically just all wrong for Collazo. Had nothing to do with what stage of career Collazo was at. Khan would have done that to Collazo anyway, because styles make fights, right? And now I'm going to go on to talk about Khan, for example. When Khan fought Canelo, right? Khan was doing well against Canelo, and he got knocked out cold the way Ricky Hatton got knocked out against Pacquiao, right? But Khan was fighting a guy that was 30 pounds heavier. That was way bigger, right? And people were expecting him to get knocked out. Okay, maybe not like that, but people were expecting him to get knocked out. Yet Khan was doing well in the fight. Ricky Hatton fought a smaller man in Pacquiao who people thought he had a chance of winning. And Pacquiao destroyed him in first round, dropped him 3 times and knocked him out cold. But yet Ricky Hatton is just great in some people's eyes. Again, I do think Ricky Hatton was a good fighter. Again, I'll say it again, he was a good fighter, but I do think he was a little overrated by a lot of people. And I think because of his fan following and how much he was loved in this country, I do think people overrate Ricky Hatton's career and resume. Nevertheless, he was a very good fighter. There's no doubt about it. Anyone that gets to world level and achieved what Ricky Hatton achieved is a world-class fighter, and he was a world-class fighter. But I do think he's a little overrated, because I don't think his resume was that great. Personally, I think someone like Khan's resume was far superior than Hatton's, right? And another thing, Ricky Hatton came back and fought Senchenko, and Ricky Hatton was past his best, no doubt about it. Senchenko knocked him out, right? But nobody even talks about that Senchenko loss. People give him a pass because, rightfully so, Ricky Hatton was past his best. Amir Khan fought Terence Crawford, who was seen as many people as the best fighter in the world. Senchenko was never seen as the best fighter in the world. Okay, in many people's eyes, Amir Khan quit, right? But Amir Khan fought the best fighter in the world and lost, but yet never got a pass on that. But yet Ricky Hatton got a pass for fighting Senchenko, getting knocked out to Senchenko. And Senchenko was nowhere near the best fighter in the world. He wasn't even anywhere close. I don't even know if he wasn't even world champion at that point, right? But Ricky Hatton got a pass, and Khan didn't get a pass for losing when he was past his best to one of the best pound for pound fighters in the world. Why the double standard? I just think Ricky Hatton for me was a little overrated, but that's just my personal opinion. You don't have to agree with me. You can leave your comments in the comment section. I'd love to hear your point of views, and I'll get back to you. Leave your thoughts, guys. Remember to please like, share, subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys in the next video. I want to thank you all for me reaching 7,000 subs. I appreciate your support, guys. As you can probably see from my channel art, I have recently started Patreon and Blogger. If you were to click on this icon here, it will take you to my Patreon page, and I just want to take you through my Patreon page. So at the minute, I've got 2 options. Hopefully, I will increase this if my Patreon grows. But at the minute, I've got one option, which is $1 a month fan donation, which will obviously help me produce better quality content on YouTube and faster for you guys. And I've got another option of $3 a month for 2 live streams a week.
discussing boxing with myself. You guys will get to speak to me face to face, and I'll take you to my boxing blog. So if you were to click on this B sign here, it will take you to my boxing blogs, which is this page here. And all you have to do is click on here, and that will take you to my boxing blogs, where you can see all my different articles that I've wrote. So as you can see, I've wrote 6 articles about different topics. So if you want to click on one of my articles, all you got to do is click on this, and it will take you straight to the article, and you can read it, and you can then go back and read the others if you would like. But yeah, guys, I thought I'd just highlight this to you. So make sure to read my articles. Make sure to subscribe to my Patreon if you're interested. And guys, I thank you for your support. I thank you for me reaching 7,000 subs. Guys, I'm out.